Morning people. We've had a slight problem. Brad Pitt hasn't turned up yet. I told him to be here for 8 and now it's 8:05 and he still hasn't turned up. So he isn't getting the new gloves. Well, let's have a look at this bonnet anyway. This is off a BMW CSL Batmobile. Now this car is worth over £500,000 and it's got this bulge in it because they put a bigger engine in, but now it has to go back to standard to pass FIA rules. So it's full of dinks and dents, so I've got to get this out, by the looks of it, on my own now, with no help from Brad. Thanks, Brad. Here we go. What we'll do now then is flip the bonnet over, get the angle grinder out, and cut it out. This is the lump I've cut out, but there's a new problem arised. The rest of the bonnet. This is just full of dinks and dents. So I reckon I'm going to have to cut this out. So this is what we're going to have to cut out. That much. This is just an aluminium wrapped over it. So let's start wheeling up a new bit and see how that looks. Cool, that was a bit hypnotic, wasn't it? Anyway, right, the panel's been wheeled. And all I'm doing now is just marking out to trim it down, because I haven't trimmed it to size, because you never trim it to size and then wheel it afterwards. That's a big mistake. So just trimming the excess off here with a pair of whiz snips, and we'll just get this last little bit off, and then what we'll do is try it on the bonnet and see how it fits. Well, just see how it looks, really. Let's give that a go. That looks pretty good. Pretty pleased with that. So all I have to do now is start doing the returns and joggling. So we're going to joggle that end there, and then I'm going to put a return on this edge here and the front edge, and then we're going to put another joggle on this edge. So let's go to the Jennies. Now I've made this special, well, it's not really special, but it works for me, a custom wheel where I can fold this right up. It takes a couple of runs, but it works pretty well. Most people would just run it through once and then dolly it up, where this, all I have to do is just keep running it through, and then look at it, and then run it through again, and then run it through once more, and then you've got a 90-degree fold. Right, now what we're going to do with that fold is bash it over. So return it on itself. That's why it's called a return fold. But the thing is, if you carry on bashing it over, you're going to have a big old problem, because it will just pinch together. So you need something to stop it doing that. So what you do is make a slip. So this little piece of metal here is the same thickness as the frame on the bonnet. Now if I can get this the right way, what I'll do is I'll push it as deep as it will go into the corner of that fold, and then I'm just going to use the mallet and pinch it over. So I'm going to get it over as best as I can and just hammer it down, and it will just pinch that bit of metal in place, but it won't go any further than that, so it won't actually double over. And then you just run it through a flat wheels on the Jenny, and then if you look at this, you just force that material out, but you've got the gap. You've got a constant gap there. So we'll do the other side now. Let's fold this up, put it in the wheels, get that up to 90, and then we'll bash that over, and then we'll run it through the wheels again with that piece of metal in there to keep it constant. There we go. So the two returns are done. Now this is the joggling tool, so put a joggle in there and a joggle in the end, which I've already done, and see the joggle there, and that will pinch under the bonnet. Now this bit here is very satisfying, because I've cut through the bonnet and it's just been held on by that return, them two returns, and look, you can just pull it off. That's the only thing locking it on. Just knock it gently off with a hammer, then bang, that's it, off. Very smooth. And then now we add the new panel on. Now the problem with this, well, it's not a problem, it's now got a joggle on it, so we can weld on that edge without it penetrating through. So what we've got to do now is try and clip the thing on. So let's give it a go. Right, I'm tack welding it together now. I'm using TIG rather than gas because gas puts a lot of heat into the material and it will distort a lot. And because I can't get underneath it because of the framework of the actual bonnet, I'm just going to use TIG. And all I'm going to do is tack weld it with these inch welds until it's completely welded, and that hopefully should narrow the distortion down. So after I've welded it up completely, what I'm going to do is sand all the welds off, clean them all up, and hammer out as much distortion as I possibly can. And then hopefully I'll be left with this. So this is it all finished. And this is what I cut out. And I think it was definitely the best way to go. Because if I actually patched up that power bulge where the hole was there, that is more welding than the two sides that I've welded up. And you can see all the distortion. It would have been horrendous trying to get that out. So it would have needed a lot of filler, a lot of work, and it wouldn't have looked great. But I think just doing this third of the bonnet, reskinning it, was the best way to go. So yeah, so I'm quite pleased of how it turned out. And yeah, that's the nasty bit. But this is the complete bonnet. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time.